And hello everybody, this is Wardenofrenown back with the Warden class in a nutshell. And this will be a tough video to do, as the Warden, in my opinion, is one of the harder classes to play, since it requires large amounts of memorization to play very well. That or a very fast writing, it requires a lot of memorization because you have this person down here, this gamut default, which is only on the Wardens. It's not in any other classes because, as I'll demonstrate here, as you hit with your 3 basic moves here, it fills that up, and that picture changes into a different skill, and then pressing 4 unleashes it into something way stronger than the building blocks that you build it with. And so that's the whole way the Warden works. And when you're attacking just one guy, you're free to use offensive moves, like Dark Against the Dawn, or Dark Before the Dawn, right? That's the one that's my favorite for DPS. There's probably a better one for that, but not only does it do DPS, it looks cool, so I just repeat that one. And your health barely drops if you know what you're doing. And whenever it does drop, you just do anything that really starts with a shield and then goes spear will heal you fairly quickly. So, Warden has Dark Before the Dawn gives you back power, and anything that starts with a shield in it almost always protects you or heals you. So you can really, if you're fighting them one-on-one, take on these guys endlessly. And I think I just triggered, yep, there it is. So this guy would be good to test out on. The Drake will attack you first, but to demonstrate the different stances, I'm currently in Determination. And Determination is what allows you to use your shielding stuff. It's the best stance, in my opinion, for soloing, because it gives you an almost infinite survivability against anything that they assume a solo person could deal with. Then are your interrupts, which this allows you to use. I was a little late on that one, but the sword and then shield, or the sword shield will both interrupt the skill if you click it right while they've got the induction going. If you see it way too late and then start building it, then it's already too late to do it. But then you've got the aggro moves, which I'll show you in just a sec. And there are 2 types of aggro moves. You've got the ones that you build with your gamuts, and then you have this one. Defiant Challenge used to be, I heard, one of the best moves a Warden could use for tanking. Now it's got a bigger cooldown, so it's not quite as useful, but it is a force aggro. If I use it in the middle, all of these guys are going to attack me. It increases my defenses for that time, and then it reflects damage when they do that. So if I do that, the other guy walked away, so it doesn't do anything. But then, while they're doing this, Determination is best for multiple person encounters. It allows you to pretty much survive as long as you want. It takes a lot of person to out DPS your healing. So, and it's great to have a lot of health when they knock you unconscious. Some guys have really nasty abilities that will keep you out for a long time. But if you follow that, you should be fine for any soloing. But then if you want the quick way, which I'll show you in just a sec, when I switch over to this guy, I'm going to switch to Recklessness. Recklessness pretty much gets rid of every skill you have that increases your health, and trades that in for things like this, do more damage, and there's a whole bunch that, instead of healing you or giving you defense, increase your offense greatly. So like on this one, the sword shield increases your defenses normally, but now it becomes a very decent DPS move that deals about 1,000 for the 3 seconds you use it for. So, and I'm just talking in really good DPS for Warden. Wardens aren't the fastest DPS classes in the game. I've heard some Wardens that claim that they are, but it's not. I can't do that, so I'm missing whatever they're using. And they may be talking against crowds, because Exaltation of Battle is one of the Warden's moves that he can use, and it pretty much feeds you health for every person you hit with it, and makes you unkillable as a tank, unless everything is after you. And if that happens, then you know somebody's doing a bad job of taking on the add-ons. But as you see, I switched back to this, because in Recklessness I was hitting them faster, but I was also losing health at 4 or 5 times the speed you normally do. So it's way harder to solo with Recklessness, because you'll run into groups of enemies that will totally eat your guts, and you'll be wondering what happened, and you either turned on Recklessness or forgot to turn on Determination. Either way, you're toast. And then you've got the third stance, which is really good for taking on guys who are gray for deeds, guys who can't put up any fight, or taking on guys in a skirmish. But as you see, it turns all of your builders into javelin skills, which are higher DPS. But when you get close up, it won't allow you to hit with anything, because you have to be at a range to hit with your builder. So then you can only hit it with your low stuff. And all in all, I think if I click, where's the third button? Oh, wrong one. So then I think there's a couple that you can still use up close, but you can't. It's not all that useful a stance unless you're in a fellowship, and then it's not all that bad. It allows you to get out of the range of a lot of AoEs. But those are three basic stances. As you can see, you've got these up here. These are the Warden's toolkit for the Eton Wars. In normal play, I don't use them all that much, but in the Eton Wars, you have a whole bunch of using constantly, because without hitting the enemy, it allows you to get pretty much any combination of two different symbols on your gamut list. And this allows you to build an entire gamut when you run away from the enemy, and then go back when you actually have something decent to hit them with, which helps you make up for the fact that these guys do virtually nothing to a monster play person with good armor. And then, let's see what haven't I covered. Ambush. Ambush is a great fellowship or soloing tool. Ambush, normally you use like this, and when you hit that little cow, he doesn't know what hit him, he's knocked unconscious, and it allows you to get behind him to use Dark Before the Dawn, or no, not Dark, Wages of Fear. Wages of Fear, when used, does a nice 354 to 476 damage at range, but if you hit them in the back, it goes up to about 800, which is way better DPS for just a one-foot move. Then your other javelin skills are Improved Javelin Toss, which does 207 to 319 damage at this level. The bleed wound that it applies you don't get until near the 70s, so don't count on that if you start with Warden. You won't have that until later in the game. The Hampering Javelin you get pretty early, which is like the barbed arrow that the Hunter has. It slows down people and it makes sure that you have time to run away or just hit them with more javelin skills. And then you have the Shield Piercer, which is also good for fellowships, as it pretty much negates all of the block rating on a low enemy, or at least seriously hinders a higher enemy. Then you have the Musters. Musters make Wardens way faster than other classes except for the Hunter in traveling around. You get it to all the basic areas, like not Bree, but Rivendell, Evendem, Estelden, Osgarath, and in other places like Mirkwood, and there it is. And you have, using that you can get around way faster than most classes. And then finally you have a Warden on a War Steed. I'll just take on one guy to demonstrate this. And on a War Steed, you're pretty well set off. If you're using Red Dawn like I do, you in essence shout at them, which then turns your third move into a freeze. And then you just do circles around it, and it can't do anything. Your fifth is the one I've got in number 5 slot here, is a Clash of Steel and Will. It is a very nice bleed wound, and yeah, I just leveled up my steed. Other than that, you have a whole bunch of mount steeds. Mount will be a different tutorial, but all in all, the Warden is a very solid soloing class, and against a lot of opinions, it can tank astoundingly well if you know what you're doing. The Warden has got a bad rep in many ways, because if you don't know your game, it's very well thing, and be as weak as I was when I was using Recklessness against 2 people. But if you do everything well, and you think the Warden looks awesome, you want to try it out. And Warden, I think, is my favorite class. It's the one I've gotten the farthest, and it's almost at max level. I don't get to play very much, so max level, well, compared to a lot of people. I get to play a lot compared to... I get to play less than a lot of these people who get a class at all of the classes in the game to 85, and all their monster play guys to way up there. So getting to 85 is quite an achievement for me, and it's taken a lot of time over a lot of months. So I've gotten a lot of dedication into this Warden. But I hope you try him out, or at least know a little more about him if you already had one. And I hope you have the best day ever. Please come back to watch the next class video. I'm not sure what it will be. It depends on what class reaches a good level to do it first. And please watch the next Hunter walkthrough episode, which should be in a couple days from now. Today I'm not going to do one. I'm going to try working on the instance walkthrough. But thank you for watching, and I hope you come back for the next episode.